Hey, it's Fabian. So I want to really talk about the girls that are going to be placing this year and the girls that I know that are going to be placing this year. The ones that you see them and you're like, that's a full package. That's someone who is going to demolish all aspects of the competition. So those are the ones that I'm going to focus on and kind of maybe what they need to work on to make sure that they do like even better than just placing. I think that it's going to be really tough competition this year. So let's get started. The first girl I'm going to be talking about today is Mexico. She's the host nation, so she's going to have a really big duty in introducing and like kind of greeting everybody that arrives, and she's the only one that doesn't have to travel to another country. She's doesn't kind of get that adventure part of it, but she is a pageant veteran. She competed at Miss Grand. She wasn't necessarily the favorite to win her pageant, but Miss Universe Mexico this year was an insanely strong competition. And I can't say that, it didn't come with its surprises. A lot of people were just upset that there was a lot of favorites, and a lot of the favorites just didn't land where people wanted them to. And I personally think that Fernanda did really well in the finale, and she is a pretty deserved winner. She undoubtedly did the best in evening gown. I mean, I've never seen an evening gown that looked like that before. So Fernanda definitely kind of stood out in that regard. And I think that something else about Fernanda is that she said that she is a communications professional. She has a degree in marketing and communications, and she spoke well. I think that she also showed that she's fluent in English. I think that the thing is that she should really, in the future, she should really take any of the opportunities that she has to speak and not like intensify the situation by having to speak in a different language. I mean, when you're on stage, it's like really like high stakes. I think that in that situation, you should definitely just lean into whatever the language you're the most comfortable in is, especially because she's going to be speaking in front of a bunch of Spanish speakers that are going to understand what she's saying, and the fan response is going to be very positive if she does get into a Q&A. I do think that Fernanda is someone who is kind of a really strong contender to make it into a top 12. So we definitely have to have our eye on her. I think that the audience response can definitely influence a judges panel. I've been at a Miss Universe where the pageant country where it was hosted at won. So I know how crazy the crowd can get when the girl that they're all there to see is actually winning. So I do think that it would be silly not to consider how strong of a possibility that Fernanda has in making it really far. And I think that her challenge is going to be kind of overcoming her evening gown performance. And also, well, by overcoming, I mean like just one-upping it. Her evening gown performance was so stunning that it's going to be hard to kind of, I guess, improve on. So yeah, the gown was beautiful. It was definitely like perfect for a Miss Universe theme, because I've never seen someone have like an actual universe on their dress for an evening gown presentation. She's gonna have to work really hard to make sure that she stands out in swimsuit, and that's gonna be really difficult because there's a lot of really strong performers this year. So that's where a lot of that's the swim the cut from 30 to 12 is gonna be insane. So I hope we're all starting to get ready for all of the possibilities, like seriously. But good luck. I really do think that Fernanda is a strong contestant, strong potential placer, and I think that she's kind of, in my opinion, pretty secured in her placement. Also, you know, I do think that some people are just worried that it's going to be a continuation of what we have been seeing since Andrea Mesa got crowned, where we haven't seen any placers for Mexico, because so many of those people that didn't place for Mexico, in the eyes of the fans, were just really strong contestants, and they're like, how is Fernanda going to like do better than them? And I think that the fact that it's in Mexico does help, honestly. But I do think that Fernanda's gonna try her best, and the fact that it's a top 30 also does help. If it was a top 30, I think that I think that Emma and Melissa both would have placed if it was a top 30, to be honest. So I think we definitely need to not count out Mexico at all. It's just, I know that she has a lot of haters for some reason, but I don't understand that. I really like her. So I'm rooting for Mexico, and good luck. Good luck, Fernanda. The next girl I want to talk about is actually, I think, oh, she's just one of the strongest girls that we have crowned so far, and it's Cambodia. Davin from Cambodia. So Davin is really just so stunning. She's a pageant veteran. She was top 3, or no, she was top 5 in Universal Woman, and she is one of those people that has aged out of being able to compete at Miss Universe like in previous years, but now with the rule change she's able to. And because she had like aged out, she had kind of given up on that dream of going to Miss Universe. She like settled down and had a child, and now like the doors are open and she can like follow her dreams again, and that's like really exciting. And her daughter's so cute. And Davin, the thing about Davin is that she's an amazing speaker. She's such a good speaker. She's actually really good in English, and she is just very confident. She commands the room, and I think that she actually would do really good in a Q&A. I think that if Davin makes it all the way into a top 5, she could end up winning. So that's something that I really like about Davin, is that she seems like a very experienced and seasoned queen, and I think that she's going to definitely be giving people the run for their money. So I think that we definitely need to be looking out for her. The thing about Davin that keeps me from putting her in a higher position is that I don't really know how strong she's going to do in swimsuit, because I couldn't find anything from swimsuit at Miss Universe Cambodia, so I don't think that that was a part of that, maybe, or maybe I just couldn't find it. But yeah, I want to see how well she does in swimsuit and see if she can really keep up. But regardless, she's going to fight and she's going to train, and you know, that swimsuit competition is going to be a battle. That's what all of this is going to kind of come down to, is like that top 12 cut is going to be insane. And I think that Davin actually has a really good shot at making it. And I think that she is the full package. She, besides doing well in pageants, strong performance, and great speaking, she does volunteer work. She is kind of focused on children and kind of empowering them through education and also through hygiene. And she is also someone who's been in the public eye in Cambodia for a little bit, because when she was 13, she actually joined a talent competition, and ever since then she kind of like broke into acting and modeling, and she actually like has done like campaigns for Reebok, and that's really cool. And like that she's like so established, and that she's kind of probably comfortable being in the public, and that's why she's so confident when she speaks. So I think that Davin is definitely a huge threat this year, and people should definitely be looking out for her. I hope that she isn't overlooked by the judges, because she's definitely a really strong contender. So good luck, Cambodia. Good luck, Davin. Okay, I really want to talk about Honduras next. Honduras, Stephanie Gum is stunning. She is really one of those girls that I think she's about to make history for Honduras. It's really exciting because Honduras hasn't placed in over 70 years. Like, I think the last time they placed was in 1955. So that means that if she even places, she's going to be making history for Honduras. I think she really stands out. She's the only blonde, no, She's the only redhead in the competition so far, and she's really like great on stage. Her performance was actually really fierce. The way that she did her turns, oh my god, and flipped her hair. Yeah, she knows what she's doing. And she has a strong story too. I mean, she's one of the mothers of the competition. She has a little girl, and they're just so cute together. And she is a model in the US, and she kind of at the Miss Honduras pageant, she didn't necessarily do that great in question and answer because she was speaking in Spanish, and it didn't seem like she kind of had a full kind of like um dominance over the language like you would if it was like your first language. So I do think that English is her first language, and that actually might be a huge benefit to her at Miss Universe. I just don't know if um how good she speaks, like, you know, because I saw that she can speak um pretty well. Like, her Spanish was actually really good. She just got nervous and couldn't really like, you know, it's really difficult to speak in a different language when um you're in this high stakes environment. So I think that I also want to make sure that she can kill all of those question and answers in English when she does actually speak, and it's not just like a nervous thing, you know? Because if she can deliver and speak really well, like if she makes it into a top 5, like, oh my gosh, she'd kill it. I think that she needs the perfect styling to make it past top 12, but oh my god, I think that she could totally make it into a top 12. She just needs to destroy swimsuit. It's really tough out here, but I think that she's like someone who is a complete and full package, and she's really stunning, and she's going to capture the eyes of the judges, especially from far away, because like, remember, this is going to be a live event that the judges are going to be standing and watching her. I do think that she stands out in a crowd, and that's something that I really like about Stephanie. I think that Stephanie has a really good chance, and if she really makes it into a top 5, she could win. So, yeah. Isn't that exciting? Good luck, Stephanie. This girl that I want to talk about next is Colombia, Daniela Tolosa. Daniela is, honestly, out of all of these people, I really just have to say she is so sure to be placing in my eyes. I think that Daniela is doing everything that she needs to. And the thing about Daniela is that she's not like everybody's favorite, and she wasn't Colombia's favorite either, like when she competed in Miss Universe Colombia. And she kind of like, I get this feeling that she just doesn't care because she doesn't compare herself to anybody else. She's sure in herself, and she knows what she can deliver, and she's kind of secure in what's going to happen and what she's going to perform and do and like just give. And I think that she's going to maybe surprise a lot of people. I think that that's kind of what happened in Miss Universe Colombia, is that you look back at that performance and you can't say that she didn't do great. I think that she actually did an amazing job in swimsuit, and I loved her evening gown performance, and I really think that she did a good job in question and answer. I think that she question and answer is one of those things that, you know, she did all right, but still needs to keep on practicing. And I think that if she does make it into a top 5, she'll definitely want to be she'll definitely be one of those contenders. So we'll see if she really like fights her way through, but I really want her to kind of keep pushing. I know that she's fighting. I know that she's kind of keeping a low key, like she's not trying to be super like showing everything that she's working on, because I know that she's putting a lot of work in, but she's all about, you know, preserving her mental health and all of that. Daniela has a really unique story in which she actually lost her dad when she was 10 years old, and this actually caused her to gain a lot of weight. And after this experience, she kind of like has gone on this weight loss journey, and you know, has transformed into the woman she is today. And she kind of is also an advocate for accepting yourself and kind of accepting different types of body types in like the entertainment industry and in fashion, and just, you know, destigmatizing different bodies. And I think that's something that I really like about Daniela, is that she's just all about inclusion. She wants people to just all be able to come together and just get along regardless of what their differences are. And I think that that's something that's so important nowadays. I like that Daniela is all about inclusion. I like that she is inclusive of different body types, and she loves also to speak up about the LGBT community. I think that's really important in Latin American countries. Like, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and it's important for people that aren't necessarily in the LGBT community to be able to support from the outside and kind of give that, you know, allyship and platform and highlighting. And I really like that about Daniela, is that I think that she's just genuinely very kind and she's just very genuine. But anyways, I really like Daniela. I think that she's one of my personal favorites, and I think that she's definitely one of her sure placers. So good luck, Daniela. So next, the girl I want to talk about is Victoria from Denmark. So Denmark is really coming strong this year. I think that the girl that was crowned from Denmark also competed in Miss Grand in 2022, and she actually made it into the top 20. And she had pretty good on stage back then, but it wasn't like super astounding. That's why she didn't advance further. But she actually seems like she did pretty good in all of the other elements of competition too. She seems like she's pretty confident and like pretty easy to speak to, as she actually even like was like, I saw in an interview that she was doing for a closed door, that she was singing for Nawat. So I think that she's pretty confident and she's not afraid to kind of be herself. She's actually a trained dancer, a competitive dancer. She's a national champion for her nation, and she competed like across Europe, and she competed internationally too. So yeah, she's like a national champion in that regard. So she's also used to being in the public eye and kind of just like training really hard for something that you want. She has a degree in marketing and business, and she kind of focuses on jewelry, on the jewelry business. She actually specializes in diamond sales, and I think that's very fierce. She also says that her dream is to kind of go to Harvard Law. People say that she's like a Barbie, but I think that she's more like Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. And she also is just very beautiful. She's one of like the few blondes that we have in the competition, and she's really standing out because she's like this ice blonde and she has these blue eyes, and she just really does look like Barbie. And she seems like she's had like a big transformation since she last competed in 2022. And I like don't know, like I haven't been able to see more of her performance from this Miss Universe Denmark, because she was like crowned on like a red carpet event, it seemed, and I couldn't find like a performance, but I know that there was like a top 30, so I don't know what happened. But I also know that she trained some of the contestants for Miss Denmark, I think. At least that's what I read. So she is very competent. She knows what she's doing. She's gonna be great on stage, in interview, and she also has done volunteer work for, I think, like young athletes, like associations and stuff like that. So she is kind of like, you know, taking all of the different realms. So she's really well-rounded. She's like the full package. I do think she's a definite sure placer. One of the people that's kind of coming strong from Europe. So I think that it's really cool that she's coming in and trying to put Denmark back on the map and kind of make sure that it does a really good job this year. And I'm really looking forward for her. I think that she definitely deserves to play. So good luck, Victoria. So Australia, Zoe Creed. She is actually really stunning. She's one of the most recent crowned girls. And the thing about the Australian girls is that they always kind of go under the radar. She is kind of at the moment also doing that, but I didn't see Mariah Wilson coming, and I didn't see like Monique Riley coming either. I think that they're just like kind of more low key. They're pretty cool. They kind of have like this easygoing personality, and you kind of don't see them coming, but then they're just so beautiful on stage and they kind of stand out. So that's the other thing, is that they have the advantage that as native English speakers, they can really demolish, and they're actually kind of some of the better speakers in the whole competition. So I do think that she's actually going to be a huge threat. I think that she could sneak her way into a top five just like Mariah did. I mean, this girl's going to be trying to beat Mariah's placement, and I think that she could do it. I think that she is going to fight for it, and I think that she believes that she can do it, and I think that's half the battle. So thinking about what like her preparation is, I think that she also has a good shot, because the Miss Australia organization, the Miss Universe Australia organization, they prepare their finalists as a whole. They are working for 7 months on getting ready for this pageant, and that's really remarkable, because that means that she's actually had just as much time as some of the other girls that have been crowned way earlier in the year. So she actually went to Vietnam and was working there. She was working in Vietnam to do volunteer work, and she was working in a school for deaf children, and she was teaching them sign and dance. So that's actually a really cool experience that she could always bring up in a closed door interview to make sure to propel her even further. She's a Pilates instructor. She's kind of focused on fitness. So she actually has this paid subscription program that is for people to that it's just going to be like a bunch of different videos on different workouts that you can do, and it's designed to be like for anybody. So that's another thing that she has in her favor, that she's a businesswoman and that she's kind of running this on her own. And Zoe is really smart and she knows what she's doing. She has a good performance on stage, and I think that she's someone who we definitely have to look out for. I think that it's harder to keep track of how strong these Australian girls are going to be. It's hard to see them coming, because they kind of are just like, they're laying low, and they kind of come in and they just astound everyone with their beauty and kind of really captivate the judges every time. So I think that's a part of why Australia is pretty successful, is because they do great in interview and they do great on stage, and that's the perfect combination. And I think that Zoe is kind of showcases that, and I think she's gonna do exactly that. So good luck, Zoe. Okay, so the next person I want to talk about is Bonaire. Ruby Boucher is actually someone who I'm really excited for. She's from she competed in Miss Grand and didn't place. And when I watched that edition, I actually really did think that she was gonna place. But she has good stage presence. She has just stunning beauty. I think that Ruby is just so beautiful. She once said that like her favorite color is yellow, and I think that really describes her perfectly, because she's just so like bright and cheery, and I think that it's really like appreciated. I really like how positive she seems, and I think that Ruby's really endearing. And I think that besides that, she has good stage presence, and that she's just so cute, and that she just knows what she's doing. She seems to be a pretty good speaker. She actually lived in Texas for a little bit, so she speaks good English, and she is actually very involved in her community, and kind of her advocacy is focused on sustainability and promoting kind of sustainable environmental practices, and she wants to kind of make sure that we can conserve the islands in the Caribbean as much as possible that are being kind of affected so heavily by climate change, because it's just getting really difficult. And so she'll like clean beaches and stuff like that too. She's actually the communications advisor for a nonprofit organization focused on the conservation of the beaches in Bonaire. I think of some very specific places, some natural parks, national parks. So yeah, I think that Ruby's actually, and she's been there doing that for I think like 5 years. So Ruby is actually the full package, and she just so happens to be from a country that hasn't been at Miss Universe since like 1999. So that's really cool. I really want to see Ruby do really well, and I think that she has everything to do really well. I think that Ruby's someone who, if she has the right styling, because I think that, you know, she has to train and she has to fight and make it into that top 12. But if she has the right styling, because she's been turning some really nice looks, if she has the right styling, she could make it into a top 5. And if she answers well, she has the face to win. Like, you can't say it, she doesn't. Like, Ruby could win if, you know, all of the stars align in the right way. And I really like that. I'm really excited for Ruby. So, yeah, I'm rooting for Ruby. Good luck, Ruby. Okay, so someone else that I want to talk about is USA. USA, no one knows what's gonna happen with USA this year, and it's definitely kind of concerning to a point where this is the most uncertain I've definitely felt about how a Miss USA delegate is going to do, and not because of what Alma's presented at all. It's more about what the Miss USA organization is willing to give Alma and provide Alma. Is she going to have to pay everything out of pocket because the Miss Universe or the Miss USA organization doesn't have the means to even support her? So I kind of feel bad that Alma has to be the one to take on the Miss USA's brand and kind of try to reinvigorate it after everything that's just happened with the resignation of Noelia, and just how you know, the Layla Rose leadership of the Miss USA organization has just not done any favors for the org, and they're broke is the most frank way to say it. But Alma is clearly a hard worker. She's a Stanford student. She's studying statistics. She's the very first Miss USA to be serving in the Army, so that's really amazing. And she's also a good enough speaker. She's good on stage in terms of swimsuit and evening gown, so I do think that she could make it just based on her performance ability alone. And then I do think that she knows how to sell herself, because some people criticized her final answer at Miss USA because she didn't really answer the question, but I do think that she sold herself. And I think that Alma will be able to sell herself when she goes to Miss Universe, and hopefully is able to secure herself a top 30 placement. At the moment, I think she is kind of, in my eyes, pretty secured. I'll put her somewhere in between like a top 15 and a top 20, you know, is where I see her right now. But yeah, I really do like Alma. I really am hoping the best for her. I know that she is going to work hard for this, and she's really smart, and that she knows what she needs to do. So she's just going to work for it. Yeah, it's just gonna be really difficult, but it's, you know, a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I know she's going to make the best of it and really try to represent and just continue the tradition of USA placing. So I am rooting for you, Alma. Good luck, and yeah, good luck, Alma. The next girl I want to talk about, her name is Kimberly. She is from Curacao, and I am, out of all the people that I've talked so far, I think the most on the fence about Curacao right now. I really like Kimberly. I think that Kimberly's beautiful, one of the most statuesque. She's so tall. And she had a really good performance on stage. But she's actually one of the youngest contestants, and I think that it's so funny that she's one of the tallest ones, but one of the youngest ones, and that she is actually so like has such a great presence on stage. I think she did really good actually in her um question and answer. Like she did good enough, and I think that she might need to practice in that regard the most, because I know that she's really going hard in terms of her preparation on stage. I mean, she's getting trained by Benjamin Diaz, and he is one of the best pageant coaches from in like the whole Caribbean. So she's in Puerto Rico with him, that training, and also her Miss Grand Curacao sisters also training with him, and they're getting world class preparation. They're going to be super prepared, and I think that she also just needs to focus on being able to sell herself. She's a painter and she likes to draw, so her advocacy is focused on art and kind of how art can improve your mental health. So she's also a mental health advocate, and she just needs to be able to really sell that. She really needs to be able to kind of speak her way through those closed door interviews and that up close and personal. I think that she might want to have some like events that kind of help substantiate her advocacy. So like maybe like hold like an art show or like a little like gallery like with people that are like in your community that kind of want to submit art and want to showcase their art. That would be a really fun idea, and then like you can maybe submit something too. But I know it's really difficult to kind of work on anything when you are working constantly on your preparation. So just think about that, because I do think that Kimberly is one of those people that has a really good shot of making it in, but I'm just worried that she's just like not going to get value, because Curacao always gets undervalued. I feel all of these like Caribbean islands just end up getting undervalued sometimes. So I really do think that Kimberly has the beauty to make it really far. If she does make it in, she could really be a huge threat and make it really, really far actually. I just like, even if she made it into a top 5, I would be worried with how well she can speak in comparison to the other people that are really like just here. So yeah, I think that Kim is working, and I see that, and I think that she needs to keep working, and that she's going to just like, yeah, I'm just excited to see how it goes for her, and I really just hope that it goes well, because I do really like Kimberly. So good luck, Kimberly. Okay, so the next girl is Nigeria. Chi-Chi. Chidima Adechina is someone who has been on a crazy journey to get here, and it's a lot. So she started off as a contestant for Miss South Africa, and then after since the beginning of her Miss South Africa journey, she got a lot of hate because of her name, because people were like selling her that she wasn't South African enough, because her dad's Nigerian and her mom's Mozambican, and they were just like, we don't like want you because you're not like South African and all this. And then towards the end, like Chi-Chi actually did really well. She was one of the front runners and one of the favorites. She made it all the way to like the top 11, because Miss South Africa has this reality TV show called Crown Chasers, and she actually was part of the original top 30, and she made it through every single episode and into the top 11 that actually competes for the final night. And then she, like 3 days before the finale, I think, was when she dropped out. And the reason she dropped out was because the government of South Africa actually issued an investigation on Chi-Chi's nationality and citizenship, because of like all of these claims that they were getting that like she wasn't actually South African. And they found that allegedly her mom had committed identity theft to kind of register Chi-Chi to be a South African citizen. So Now there's an investigation ongoing on Chidima's mother to see if this is all true and how this happened, and she's in like a lot of like deep water, like she could really be going even to jail. So Chi-Chi's just like, because of this whole situation, she was having a terrible time. She dropped out of Miss South Africa so close to the finale, even though she had a good shot. And you know, she didn't know if she was going to be able to stay in South Africa, because she didn't know if she was going to be able to stay as a citizen, you know? After that, the Miss. Oh, and also, like, Chi-Chi kind of found this out at the same time as, like, all of the rest of us. So then the Miss Nigeria organization goes ahead and sends Chi-Chi an invitation to participate at the Miss Nigeria competition, and she accepts. This decision has been really controversial, but I think that Chi-Chi was in her full right to accept that invitation. She, like, still wanted to follow her dreams, and at least going into Nigeria, she knew that she wasn't going to be like in this, like, having to worry about if she was going to get deported, you know? So she goes and she competes in Miss Nigeria. People also think it's controversial because they had already selected the top 24, but honestly, that's on the Miss Nigeria organization. That's not on Chi Chi. She took this opportunity and she won. And the decision was the Miss Nigeria organization's decision that, like, she was the best contestant that night. And I think that Chi Chi did a good job in swimsuit. I think that she needs to hone her swimsuit performance, and same with evening gown. She really needs to hone her performances for both. I think she did a good job, but I think that she really needs to practice and she really needs training. So Miss Nigeria organization really needs to get on that. But I think that she just is so facially stunning that she's just like insanely beautiful. I think that the thing is, like, Chi Chi just has this crazy story that kind of led her to here, and this is going to help her get through closed door interviews, because she's going to have such a great story to tell, because she had to overcome so much and also just deal with so much hatred, and she's just going to be an advocate for, like, against bullying online and just doing something about cyberbullying. So I really do like Chi Chi. I think that she has a good shot of doing well if she really trains, and also make sure that she is able to speak like well. If she wants to win, she has to make sure that she like gets through that Q&A. She did do well in her Q&A. It wasn't the strongest compared to everyone we've seen, but she did do well. I do think she did better than the one that people thought that was gonna win. So I do think that it was fair that Chi Chi was crowned. Yeah, I really like Chi Chi. I think that another thing that Chi Chi mentioned on Crown Chasers is that she's a mother. She actually got divorced this year, so she is a single mother, and Chi Chi has kept the everything about her child very private, and we should just respect that. If Chi Chi doesn't want her child to be kind of in the public eye, especially after all of the hatred that she's been receiving, you don't know. People are crazy. So I think it's really like, we'll keep it at that. I think that she can do great in an interview. And I think that she should just take everything that's happened to her advantage and just propel herself forward, because she has what it takes. And I don't know. It would be such great redemption for her. My only advice to Chi Chi is to try to have fun. Like, when you're over in Mexico, it's gonna be a once in a lifetime opportunity. I know it's a lot of pressure, and I know that you're gonna be working really hard, but just like, Chi Chi deserves a little bit of fun. So I'm rooting for you, Chi Chi. Good luck, Chi Chi. Okay, so with that, I've mentioned 26 girls. I mentioned 10 girls here. And then 12 girls in my last video, plus the 4 honorable mentions. I think that out of the 4 honorable mentions, Mia LaRue from South Africa is a sure placer. I did say in the last video that Netherlands Faith is also a sure placer, but I'm a little bit iffy on that one, and I don't know how much interview is gonna weigh in, so I don't know about Albania and Panama, but I think that I'm keeping them in my top for right now. So if we count all of these girls, these 4 girls for the honorable mentions from last video, the 12 girls that were my crown contenders from last video, and these 10 girls that I talked about today, that's 26. That means that there's only 4 spots left. And I honestly could talk about over 30 girls. So we're going to talk about them in the next video. And the next video is just going to be focused on those 4 spots. The girls who are fighting for a place in one of those 4 spots. The girls that I've mentioned so far, like, I have them kind of all over the place. One of them could fall off, and those last 5 spots, like, they're really fighting to stay in those 5. The next 4 girls could be literally anybody out of, like, over 30 girls. Like, it's like I could even make more than like 30. But next video I'm just gonna talk about more girls that I really think could place, but it's those girls that are fighting for that position. Because I know a lot of you are just like screaming that I haven't mentioned specific people. I'm sorry. And I do want to talk about them, and I do think that they have a good shot at placing, but there's so many of the girls that I think have a good shot at placing that I think that this is probably the best way that we can do them all justice. So I'm going to keep it up to here. And yeah, I'm just going to keep it up to here, up to 26 girls. So all of the girls that I have in my personal, like 26 to 30 or 27 to 30, they're in the danger zone. So it's really difficult because it's really gonna depend on people's specific tastes, and it is going to be, I think, going to be ruffling some feathers for sure. But that's what we have. That's what I'm gonna do. Next video, I'm going to focus on even more amazing contestants. Maybe I'll talk a little bit faster, I don't know. But I think that I was a little bit more kind of organized this time, so let's see. And I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for listening. I'm so excited that there's so many more people that are here and that they're listening and that they're watching, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you. Comment down below who you think is going to do a really good job at Mr. Universe and who you think I should have mentioned and is much stronger of a competitor than I'm giving them credit for, down below in the comments. So thank you. Bye.